Hello, 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 everybody. Welcome back to another stream on the channel. We have had a massively crazy week when it comes to superhero and geeky content, with tons of trailers and announcements for us all to have fun and enjoy. And today, I am joined by Smash Trivia, a podcaster on the internet who's very into all these pop culture and superhero content. John, how's it going?
It's going good. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. It's great to have you on. I've been wanting to have you or do something together over the past couple of years, so it's great to finally have you on. So we have, of course, we got a lot of trailers this week.
Yeah.
It was kind of absurd. Even just outside of like the superhero stuff, we got like 5, and then like Netflix dropped some stuff, and some directors dropped some stuff. It's been crazy. What was your favorite? Like, what was your favorite trailer that we got this week?
I'd have to say probably the long version trailer of the Flash Arrow crossover.
Yes. The CW released a meaty one, and I wasn't expecting them to drop it. I was expecting just their normal like 10, 15 second trailer promo, and they dropped it like a day early, or like what, 8 hours early.
Oh yeah, and God, it was like, I think like a minute and a half long.
Yeah, it was like a minute 20, which they normally only do for like crossover events, and we'll talk about it once we get there. Yeah. But like, it does kind of feel like it's like a full-on crossover. Like, it feels like how they would promote their crossover events.
Yeah. So though there's one thing about the trailer that does annoy me a little bit that we can get into when we get to that trailer. But yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, alright, I say we just kind of hop in. The first one I have up in here is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse Part 1. The upcoming Spider-Man movie. I'm very excited for this movie. The original is one of my favorite superhero movies of all time. I think it's one of the best animated films ever made. So, kind of what was your overall thoughts when it came to this trailer?
I thought this was a great trailer. I thought I had a lot of fun with it. I was surprised that they referenced the MCU with it. Like, I would have thought if they were going to do something like that, they would wait for the film to actually come out for
sure,
or making so that people would have like a bit of a freak out moment or something in theaters. But I thought this was a pretty great trailer. I love how in one of the shots of the trailer you see Gwen's bedroom, and she has a protect trans kids sign on above her door. I love that. Yeah,
absolutely. It's one of those things where it's been so hard to watch over this past week, just the outrage of certain portions of the internet and what they'll do for something so little. But no, it's absolutely amazing that I think.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in like animated movies now that we're finally at a place where we can do that, and of course you're still going to get your very weird people who are gonna all your moms who are going to be like, not in my kids' movies or whatever. But
it's funny. It's funny. These people, they think, oh, if we complain enough, the people won't go see it. No, no. The more you complain, the more I'm going to want to watch this.
Sure.
Honestly, because it's a lot of times the things that those people complain about end up being the things I really love watching. Like how all of those people complained about She-Hulk, and I absolutely loved that show.
Sure. Yeah, no, it's a weird place on the internet currently, I think, where like we have to hate everything that comes out, everything I legitimately don't think we can ever go a movie ever again without there being a portion of the internet that's like woke or a reboot or all these angry aspects of the internet that is very frustrating. And this is a movie. It's crazy because this is also a movie that like just for its existence is going to get that portion of the internet who's like woke culture, Spider-Man's white, all those weirdos on the internet. But it does feel like as a whole, like the superhero community has like surrounded around this movie, and like everyone's just like so excited to see what this movie has to offer. And I think it's so interesting because I think the first one kind of snuck up on people. Like no one really knew it was coming out. Like it kind of just came out of left field, and it came out, and everyone's like, yo, this masterpiece just dropped. Let's all go support this movie.
Yeah, and I'm hoping with the second one that it has a lot more people go see it, because even though the first one is a masterpiece, if I remember right, it only has like 300 million million worldwide,
Hmm.
which for a Marvel movie is not that great,
Yeah,
and not that great before the pandemic.
it's going to be. We already have a comment. He's like, "Hey Darren, do you think this movie will flop because of the June competition?" June is insane. Almost everything in June, because we got like Indiana Jones, we have Transformers, we have Flash, we have this. We have a DreamWorks movie, we have a Pixar movie. Like it's an insane month in June, which I personally love because like that's my birthday month.
Mm,
This movie comes out on my birthday, so I'm actually very excited for that. But I am kind of curious to see what film does ultimately come on top,
yeah.
if any come on top. Like I could see every one of these movies like suffering due to the fact that there's so much coming
Oh
out.
yeah, yeah. That is something I'm definitely worried about. But then, and like there have been months before where there are a lot of big movies coming out, and then all of the films in the month did well. Like I seem to remember that that the same month that Avengers Endgame came out, there was a bunch of other films that came out that month, and they all did well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think honestly though, I think Spider-Man could come on top just because it's Spider-Man, right?
Mm-hmm.
Everyone loves
Oh yeah.
Spider-Man. But also like Flash, where you have just like your Mike Keaton hype, you have like the Batman hype.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I need this movie to do good though,
I
because
think
what I want more of in this like superhero sphere of movies and stuff is I want more high budget like animated movies, because
yeah,
this is for me
definitely.
the best medium to tell these stories, right? I
Oh
think
yeah.
if you could like if you look at what DC's have been able to do with their shared universes and stuff like that, like I think look at like Incredibles, and even like maybe not everyone's favorite, but like Super Pets, you can have these really good looking animated superhero movies, and maybe people look down on them still because it's like animated, it's not live action, but I would love like a I know James Gunn is trying to do like animation and live action and video games. So I mean, I hope like animation's a big part of like the big screen, high budget films.
Oh, definitely. One thing I've said and with the first film is I love one of the things I love about how it's animation is it allows you to make fight scenes in a way that you could not do in live action. Like
Sure.
the final fight in that the first Earth Spider Verse film is so wacky and crazy, and it's signed it it's just not going to work if you try doing that in live action. But it works with animation. That's one
Sure.
of the most beautiful things to me about how trying to get superhero films in animation. It's just being able to do things that you can't in live action.
Absolutely, yeah. There's so much, and I think it's the closest to the comics too. Like it's like
Oh
Spider
yeah,
Verse sometimes looks just like the comic books, and how
yeah.
it's translated and how you can do like the like thought bubbles and the like color splats, and I think everything. I'm so excited, and this one looks even beautifuler. That's not a word, but it looks even more beautiful than the first one. And again, it honestly like I legitimately think that Spider Verse is changing like the animation game in general. With like
Oh
Puss in
yeah.
Boots has come out recently, that Netflix movie last year that came out that everyone hyped up, and it seems like all around there's a lot like the like new like Ninja Turtles movie looks like it's taken some like inspiration from this,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it's only a matter of time for all the sectors to kind of like like let's gear towards this animation style. I'm curious how Disney like what's the look of Disney in 5 years from now.
Yeah. Yeah. I honestly hope that um Chris Lord and Miller, I think, may be
Mm-hmm.
the people who were behind this. I honestly hope that Marvel Studios themselves, not Sony, and gets their hands on them and tries to have get a different character that's not just Spider-Man and
Sure.
with an animated film, because I think them plus the power of Kevin Feige would be could do something very interesting.
Sure. No, I mean I've been wanting forever. Like I love the MCU, but I also want like other things of Marvel that's not
Yeah.
just the MCU. Which is why I'm slightly excited for some of those like Sony projects where like they're not always the best, but also it's something different. Like we're getting that
Yeah,
Silk series and we're getting that Spider-Man Noir show, and I would love some of that in like animation, right? Like we could do an
definitely.
animated Hulk movie, an animated
Oh yeah.
Black Widow or Captain America, or
One thing I particularly really want to see
whatever it is.
is an animated a Gwenpool film. Do you know
Pretty cool.
anything about the character of Gwenpool?
Not really. I'm not. I'm
Well,
not very into that
it's a
character. But go ahead.
it's a character that would very much fit into this animation style that they do with Spider Verse, and this is a character who she is supposed to be from our world and of the real world, and she somehow got teleported into the Marvel universe, and she is a Marvel fan herself. So
Sure.
having her be in a film that like actually looks really like a comic book would be the perfect way to make her film.
That I mean, yeah, that sounds absolutely like really cool. I even remember. Do you remember that like Deadpool like animated show with like Donald Glover?
Mhm.
Deadpool would look really cool, I think, in
Oh
this
yes,
art style.
definitely. Yeah, I actually though someone sadly confirmed to me that it wasn't him, but I saw a frame from this trailer where it looked like in the distance one of the characters might be Deadpool, but they said no, that's sadly another Spider-Man from the multiverse. I think it would be
Sure.
absolutely amazing if he got a cameo in here.
So there is clearly a lot of Spider-Man in this movie, right? We got the PS4 Spider-Man, and we got the spectacular Spider-Man, and even like references to MCU Spider-Man. Is there a particular Spider-Man that you would like to see in this movie?
Ooh, I would probably have to say that this is isn't technically another character, but it's um this is a Spider-Man who in one comic he wore a bag on his head and he
Yeah.
wore a Fantastic Four suit and he was called the Bombastic Bag Man.
Mm-hmm.
I think that
I
would be cool.
I think we saw him in one of the trailers, right?
I
Or
think
maybe
maybe.
I'm
Maybe.
hallucinating that.
But I would like him to like actually be like one of the characters who actually gets a good sized role in the film. I think that would be really fun.
Sure. Yeah, I'm curious how many of these characters are going to be cameos and which ones have actual like prospects in this movie, right? Like we know like Spider Punk and like Spider Woman, and a couple of these other characters are playing like drastic roles in the film. And then I'm kind of worried for characters like the PS4 Spider Man. Like I would love to see that Yuri get an actual chance to, and maybe not a large role, but I hope it at least speaks inside of the movie.
Yeah. Another one that I would probably want just as like a cameo in it, but I want Spider Hulk just because it's my brand.
Yeah.
Which I've read recently the like one comic about Spider Hulk, and it's actually like a really fun story.
Is it?
Yeah.
That sounds like a lot of fun. I do wonder because there's obviously like they mentioned the MCU here, and a lot of theories going around. Like, do you think we'll see any of those actual characters show up? And I mean, we have two of these movies. I have a hard time believing that in least one of them we don't get some kind of like Tom Holland or Andrew Garfield type thing.
I think it's a very good possibility that we could. I think it's more likely that we get probably either Andrew Garfield or Tobey Maguire than Tom, because just based on the end of No Way Home, I don't see him going into the multiverse for a while. But I could particularly I think it's possible for Andrew.
Sure.
So.
Yeah, I wonder because like Phase 4 and then 5 and 6 is really kind of leaning towards like Secret Wars and all of these characters coming in and out. And there has been a part of me that has wondered like, could we get like this character going into like Secret Wars, or even I don't know, some kind of like like end like maybe you end the third one with him coming into live action or something and goes into secret. I don't know. Like I feel like that's very fan servicey, especially with this trailer kind of like separating the MCU Earth with like with like the main comic Earth could make me like maybe we could sneak him in there somewhere.
Definitely.
Yeah. But I do really like the themes that this movie is, I think, so far telling, where this, like, we definitely set up in the first one that, like, you can't save everyone, but this movie seems to be going in that theme a lot harder than maybe we've seen in the past, and maybe he has to choose between saving his family and saving the entire multiverse of characters.
Oh, yeah. That's gonna be so much fun. One character I'm like really excited that they did bring back is Jake Johnson's version of Spider-Man, because I had so much fun with him in the first film.
Yes, I'm watching. That's the main Peter, right? That's Peter B.
Yes.
Parker. Yes, I've been watching New Girl for the first time, and he's a big character in that show. And now hearing him back as that character, it's very weird. It's like, oh, I know you from there, now I know you from here.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm excited. I'm also excited to see Mayday, right? His daughter in this movie. Are you excited to see maybe a parent version of Peter Parker? Because that's something we haven't seen too much in the comics and stuff. I
think it'd be interesting. I would hope he's not just being a parent in the film, but I think it will be interesting.
Sure. I'm wondering what role they play, because it seems like Gwen and Peter are the only big returning characters in this one. So like we don't have like Noir or Spider-Ham as much. Maybe I would assume maybe they make cameos.
Sadly, Nicolas Cage did say that that they didn't ask him to come back as Spider-Man Noir.
Interesting.
Which he was not happy, apparently, that they did not ask him to come back.
Sure,
because he really likes that role.
I could still see a way that maybe you can like have a cameo in there, like even if it's like a non-speaking role or something. I don't know. I'm very curious about this movie. I think it's. Do you think they showed too much here? Because I've heard a lot of people complaining that maybe they showed too much of the trailer.
I don't think so, because the thing is, based on the two trailers we've gotten, I don't really know exactly what the story is.
Sure.
So I don't think they've shown too much if I don't know what the story is.
Sure. Yeah, I know Sony's pretty good for that, like in the past, where they'll show like their main Spider-Man movies, and I guess besides No Way Home, because they try to keep a lot of that hidden. Where, you know, they like show the best parts of like all their trailers, and then there's not much left for the movie. So I'll be curious for this one. I hope there's a lot of surprises and a lot of great moments. I think they're showing a lot of the cameo type stuff, and they're saving a lot of the like emotion, story driven stuff for the actual movie.
That makes sense.
Yeah. All right, we may as well move it along to our next trailer here, and that's Blue Beetle, DC's next upcoming movie, this August. Now, I am not maybe a massive comic book fan of Blue Beetle, but from everything I've seen, I do really enjoy this character, from the Teen Titans movies to especially Young Justice and Batman Brave and the Bold. We had the official first trailer for it. What was your thoughts on this trailer?
I thought this was so much of a fun trailer. I love that they got George Lopez to play the dad. I think that's really funny. And then also I love the actor that they have playing. I think Miguel O'Hara maybe is the name of the character. I love the actor that's playing him because I've watched Cobra Kai. And he's the main character in that.
Yes, I absolutely love Cobra Kai. It was such a cool casting announcement too, because he felt like everyone fan casted him as that character. Like I saw no other fan castings for this version of the character, and it just happened. You know, he got the role. And this is a movie that's felt like it's been in development, just like a lot of DC movies, for a very long time.
Oh yeah.
And it's finally out. It's finally coming out, and you know, it's a weird. I love the trailer, but it's definitely a very weird placement, because everyone's like, this looks fun. Now, where is it taking place? Is it in our old
Yeah.
DCU timeline? Is it post Flash? Is it
To
in
be
this
honest,
in between spot?
I think for this film, we just need to treat it like it's a standalone film and just have fun with it.
Sure. It's an interesting one. I think it will be canon. I really, really do. I think that Blue Beetle is a character like James Gunn shared that photo the other day with all of those heroes, and Blue Beetle was one of them. I think with us doing Booster Gold, and I think James Gunn wanting that very lighthearted, more kind of DC universe, compared to maybe what we've seen in the past. I think he'd fit very well. Although I don't think we'll hear anything for a very long time. I think
Definitely not.
I think they'll have this movie come out, have people confused about it until at least after Superman. I think they want Superman to come out, be the first movie of that universe.
And I honestly, I don't think that we're going to actually hear about any characters not returning until a new actor is in the role. Like I don't see them having like press releases saying Zachary Levi out as Shazam or some I like that like they have with Superman.
Yeah, honestly, I'm very curious about casting. I think I'm so excited to see all these like casting announcements come out. And I think we'll get that somewhat soon. I think we'll get some of those announcements because I think they're going to start filming sooner than later. So I would expect maybe San Diego Comic-Con. Yeah, I think we're going to get a lot.
I would honestly bet that San Diego Comic-Con on James Gunn is probably going to try to mirror what Marvel has done in the past, as blowing up Hall H with trailers and stuff.
Yeah, honestly, like it's such a long way away. Like we have to wait till 2025 for this universe to really kick off with Superman Legacy. But a lot of the fun things for me about like getting all this stuff is the journey, and I'm so excited for all of the casting announcements, for all the plots of these movies, for all of these directors getting announced, and there's so much. So we're gonna get a lot of fun stuff to talk about. And I think this next 6 months, starting like June-ish, is going to be really fun as we start learning. We just got an announcement yesterday for Swamp Thing and who's directing that movie, and I'm very excited to see how it all kind of goes down. But regarding this trailer as a whole, I thought it looked a lot of fun. It looked exactly what I kind of want out of my superhero movies.
And I think the tone of this trailer works absolutely perfect for the Blue Beetle. Though I just like you, I have not read any Blue Beetle comics, but I have like watched him in animation, and if I remember right, I think he appeared in Smallville once or something. And I think that the tone of this trailer is just perfect for at least what I know of Blue Beetle.
Sure. Miata said it feels kind of like Miss Marvel. I can kind of see that. They're very like family dynamics here. It does seem like a very family-centered movie, which I think is kind of an interesting take.
Yeah, and I think that is perfect for this. And also though, I think we should have more stuff like Miss Marvel was, because it's because of Miss Marvel basically was loved by everybody. It wasn't like a show that anybody really hated on, I don't think.
I mean, I definitely saw those certain groups hating on it.
Well, yeah, there's obviously certain groups, but you didn't have like just normal people hating on it. It actually had, I think, like 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. Which was surprising.
I think what was so interesting about Miss Marvel is I saw no hate for the character of Miss Marvel, right? Like, everyone loved that character, and of course this actress, who is amazing. I'm so excited to see her again this year. I thought she was phenomenal. And then, I saw some hate for the show itself, but I think they did a really good job with her. I'm so excited to see more from that character.
And hopefully stuff like this, is people liking stuff like this, is whether it be Miss Marvel or it be Blue Beetle, leads to more representation of different sets of people.
Sure, absolutely. I think that's something I think Phase 4 really focused on, and I think the fact that so many people hated it is why we need more of it. Like,
Yes,
I think you need
definitely.
to be representing all these different cultures and people and like sexuality and all that jazz. Even more in Phase 5,
Yes.
Hopefully.
Yes, give us a trans superhero in Marvel.
That'd be great. That'd be absolutely amazing. But yeah, I don't have much else to say about the Blue Beetle trailer. I had a great time with it. I thought it was a really fun. Yeah. I'm really excited, and I hope. Do you think this movie will do well just inside of the box office and stuff?
I think it'll do decent, but it's not going to be like a $1 billion film or something. It's
No.
I think it's going to be around the same numbers of something like Black Adam had.
Sure. I think it'll do better than Shazam did, because I think Shazam was very unfortunate with like the month. Like, of course, we already talked about like this year's crazy with movies. Each like almost every weekend there's a massive blockbuster coming out.
Yeah.
And I know August is a little calmer than like June and July is, because we have Ninja Turtles, we have Meg 2, and then we have this. I think those are like the big main 3 ones. And I guess it just depends how it's promoted and how they're pushing this movie.
Now, one thing I find I think it's going to be interesting for promoting stuff with this year is I think the Meg 2 is Warner Brothers and it is called Meg 2 The Trench. I'm wondering if that actually is like they folded in what was going to be the spinoff from Aquaman into the Meg, and I'm wondering if they will try to do some kind of cross promotion since Aquaman 2 is also coming out this year.
I think they're completely different franchises and its own separate thing.
Maybe I seem to remember I thought like maybe the same director was behind both all the time.
Yeah, honestly, Aquaman 2 is an interesting one. I'm kind of worried about that movie. Are you excited for it at all?
Not much, because honestly, unlike a lot of people, I wasn't a terribly big fan of the first film.
Oh,
I found it boring.
Wow.
Like, it has cool visuals, but it was boring to me.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I was a big fan of the first one. I don't know, I get very weird vibes with it, and it feels like each month we're learning more. Like, of course, the whole Amber Heard stuff is very unfortunate, and it feels like there's been so many versions of this movie. One that obviously takes place in, like, the DCU, one that's had, like, Ben Affleck, one that's had Michael Keaton, one that maybe has not. Like, there feels like there's so many things happening with it, and then the audience's reaction to it that we heard a couple months ago. I never like to base my opinion on, like, pre-stuff, because, that's critics, and I don't like to do that too much, but there was a lot of negative reactions to it, saying it's one of the worst superhero movies ever made. I was like, I'm nervous. I hope it's good. I love the first one. I hope it can continue that ball game into the potentially the DCU as well, because that's another one that they've said is maybe canon, maybe.
Yeah, to be honest, I think there is a good possibility of Jason Momoa coming into the DCU or the DCU, both as Aquaman and Lobo, because I think Lobo looks different enough from Aquaman, and that it's not going to be a problem, and also, but also because he already worked with James Gunn by appearing in the Peacemaker finale.
Yeah, I think Jason Momoa is safe either way. I mean, he seems very confident that he said like 2 or 3 times now, like, Aquaman's part of this new world, like Aquaman's not going anywhere. It would be so comic booky if he was both Lobo and Aquaman. I'd love it. I mean, like, put makeup on him, like give him a different hairstyle. You could totally have him do both. Give him like maybe a little different voice. You could definitely do it.
Yeah.
All right, up to our next trailer. We have the Secret Invasion trailer. So what was your thoughts on the Secret Invasion trailer?
Well, this is an interesting one. I don't know how to feel about it. Like, it's gonna be interesting. Interesting, but I kind of found this trailer to be a little bit boring myself. I thought like there wasn't like that many reveals or anything that made me like super excited for it. But I'm scared for this show in general because because the idea of Secret Invasion from the comics is one that's one that I'm like, it could really make us change our feelings on some characters that like we know and love, and like find out that they're bad, and it's like, I don't know how to feel about that. You have been muted.
I was muted. Yeah, no, this has been my most anticipated project for a while, mainly just because my bias for Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and I've said, like, if they're going to show up anywhere, it's going to be here. And I will say, I think this show will make or break if it's canon. Like, I 100% think, like, by the end we will know either way.
I was really hoping that there would be Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters that would show up in this trailer.
Sure.
But then they didn't. I think that might be part of why I felt disappointed from it. So that's my own fault all for doing so. But yeah, I think that you're right. I think there actually is a pretty good, decent chance of Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. characters appearing in this, because there have been 3 different characters who there's been like stuff like surrounding, like rumors of them popping up, like Chloe Bennett teased that she might appear by when like talking to a troll on Twitter. There was like either last year or the year before, while they were filming it was apparently Elizabeth Hentridge, who played Simmons on the show, was spotted in Atlanta where they were filming. So there's a possibility of her appearing. And then there's also how in one of the really small clips from Secret Invasion that appeared in a Disney Plus promo thing, where Fury says that the cavalry is coming, which obviously Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fans will know that as Agent May.
Yeah, I cannot tell you how much I wish that the cavalry scene was Agent. I think that's a misdirect. I think they will be here, but I think that line's a misdirect. I think that's going to be some kind of, I don't know, maybe that's like, I don't know, someone. I don't know who the cavalry would be.
I think though that with how Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. ended, I think that it is we are at the perfect way that they can make it canon, while not anger the fans who don't want it to be canon, because within the canon of the show, Coulson, just like what these fans want, he is dead. He's as the Coulson that you see in the final season is now an LMD.
Yeah,
and I think that's the perfect way that they can bring him back, and I can have him even appear in and they can just say, yeah, Coulson's dead. This is an LMD. They don't have to reference all of the events that happened in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. That way, the fans who want it to be canon, they can believe all these things happened, while the people who don't, they can just believe it's just as an LMD and he's only died once.
Sure. Yeah, no, Coulson, I would be very shocked if we don't get a Coulson scroll some point in this movie. Like, Coulson's been Fury's like right-hand man, and I think if we're trying to go for the effect of messing with Fury and his mind and the people he's very close with, I absolutely think Coulson will show up. And again, like, that's where I kind of think that they might, like, it's either a make or break, because it depends on what they do with that character, with that scroll, kind of like what Fury says throughout this movie. But yeah, I think it's kind of interesting. I'm very excited. There's a lot of, I love the vibes of the show as well. Like, I love the spy thriller, very early S.H.I.E.L.D., very Winter Soldier-esque. I love the, like, who can we trust? Maybe no one.
Yeah, I
Is there
can see that.
anyone like in the show or just in the like the MCU overall that you think could be like a scroll currently?
I'm thinking that the most likely person within this show, that's going to end up being revealed as a scroll, is Everett Ross. I like
Absolutely.
I'm like if he wasn't going to be revealed as a scroll, I don't see why he would be appearing in this because he's never had any connection with Nick Fury.
Yeah.
Like that's so I think that's possible, and then it would be an interesting thing that like they can reveal that, and it'd be like we find out that means that a scroll has not only infiltrated the United States but also the most advanced kingdom in the world.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I think Everett is definitely a scroll. I feel like he seems like the most obvious
Mhm.
ones. I'll be honest. I think Maria's a scroll. I think I
Yeah,
don't think it's a newer thing. I think like this entire time she's just been a scroll, and he put her in like a place of power. I don't think she's evil though. Like I don't think she's bad. I think she's still on our side. And then I think that Rhodey is also a scroll, but I think it's like a newer thing. Like I think like post Endgame Rhodey might be a scroll just because of some things that they have said, going into the show. Like, he is now, I think, like next to like the president, like he is part
yeah.
of like some governmental power. That would make sense if he's trying to rise to power, taking place his spot. We've also said that the events of this show will like directly go into Armored Wars, and I could very much see a situation where a Skrull has like completely ruined this man's life. He has all of these stuff like connected to these Iron Man suits.
Mhm.
Maybe he's sold some. He's doing like he's giving all these suits to these bad people, and then when our regular Rhodey will come back in like Armored Wars, like by the end of the series, and now he has to clean up the mess like in that film.
Yeah, I could see that. Definitely.
Do you guys think the show will redeem Marvel? So I guess first I would have to ask, do you currently think they need redeemed? Like, are you at a point where you're not really liking Marvel currently, or are you pretty much enjoying everything?
I, for one, I am in loving everything that Marvel's putting out. To be honest, I think that the criticisms that Phase Four had are very much not warranted at all, in my opinion. I think, to me, Phase Four was one of my favorite phases, and
Interesting.
I think that a lot of the people who are complaining about it, there's two parts to it. One, they don't. One, there are people who don't like that there's representation now out, and then two, they don't like that Marvel decided to start experimenting and not make every single film feel the same.
Yeah.
They really tried with Phase Four to make everything feel different, and it seems like particularly all the things that feel very different from what we got before are what are the things that people have problems with.
Mm-hmm. I'm in a mixed bag, I think, because I've enjoyed a lot of Phase 4. There's also a lot of things that I didn't quite enjoy from Phase 4. I wasn't a fan of the newest Ant-Man movie. I kind of, that felt very, I don't know, it did feel very, I think a lot of it is kind of phoned in for me, where there's stuff I kind of want more of from Marvel. I don't think they need redeemed. Like, I think,
Yeah.
like when I look at both Marvel and DC, like they're, like, the track for Marvel to kind of get it back on track for me, it's much easier than DC, right? You can just make a couple better projects and then you're like good to go, right? I think this show will be good though. I really do. I think that's I think they got a gold mine on their hands. I think when Marvel really needs to make a good project, they can make a good project very easily. Look at No Way Home, look at Black Panther, look at Infinity War and Endgame and Civil War. Like those are all really good movies, and I think this show will be a lot bigger than people are giving themselves credit for. I think we're going to get a lot of characters in here that we didn't expect. I think this is going to tie
Yeah.
into a larger story that we're telling currently at Marvel with Captain Marvel 2, and maybe connecting to like the Thunderbolt stuff and the because like we have a president in this movie, and by the time we get to Thunderbolts, we have Ross as the president, right?
Yeah.
So I would assume something happens with the president. I think this is all going to tie into one large
Mhm.
governmental like secret soldier type story.
Definitely.
Yeah, I'm very curious. I'm very curious. Are you excited for like Ross? Because I know you're very big on Hulk. There's
Yeah,
been a lot of news with with Captain America 4. We have Betty and then Ross and a lot maybe She Hulk and some of these characters popping in. Is that something that like
like
you're really excited for?
I'm kind of 50-50 on it. It partially I'm like I I love these characters. I'm so happy that they're finally in the finally back in the MCU after being like 15 years after Incredible Hulk. But I don't like that they're shoving Hulk characters into Sam's first Captain America film, because I think the spotlight should be on him. Just like I wasn't a big fan of Daredevil getting put into She-Hulk because I think that I thought She-Hulk should be the person who's getting the highlight there because it's her show, it's her first outing, so I don't on that aspect there's that, and then there's also particularly for Ross, I think that Harrison Ford will do a good job, but because it's Harrison Ford, someone who is so incredibly well known, I think it's gonna be hard to see him as Ross and not just it's President Harrison Ford.
Sure. Sure, yeah, that is going to be very interesting. He's very known as that the Han Solo movie star type character. I'm very excited to see kind of what he brings to that character. I'm very curious what we do with each one of these characters because I think Ross is going to fit in very well with the story we're telling here. I think he's going to be very important. Same with like the leader. I think those two being here make a lot of sense. And I would bet money that Betty is going to be a small cameo. I think there's a lot of rumors that maybe she's read She-Hulk instead, but I don't know. I think I think she'll be there just to support Ross. I think there'll be a small scene with her and them together.
I kind of think her appearing and then all these other Hulk characters appearing, it's going to be at least for some of them, as you said, like with Betty, it will be a small thing, mostly as like a way of them being like reminding the world that these people exist in this universe for when they eventually are able to make another Hulk film, so we know these characters again.
Sure. Yeah, it does feel like you're probably much more like knowledgeable about this, but there are rumors about like maybe the Hulk rights are coming up pretty soon. Maybe maybe we are suiting up for a Hulk solo film, in the future.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a possible thing, and I like there were like rumors of that before She-Hulk came out, and then they had they mentioned in the She-Hulk finale, Jen was like, "Oh, you can save the scar reveal for the Hulk movie." I'm like, the fact that there was that and there was these rumors kind of tells me that they definitely are planning something.
Sure.
Like,
I wonder if that's going
a joke, but I think it's probably not just a joke.
Sure. I think we're suiting up. I think everything in this movie, I think Scar and I think all these characters popping in and coming into place, it definitely leads to something. I wonder if that would be pre-Secret Invasion, or I'm sorry, Secret Wars, or if that would be afterwards in this new kind of era of the MCU. It is quite insane.
That's one thing I'm not sure of because I'm like, I don't see how they can fit it into their release schedule before Secret Wars, because there's so much happening.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I'm very curious to see how this all comes into place. All right, I'm gonna move on. We only have a handful of minutes here, so I am gonna try and get through some of these pretty quickly. First of all, this trailer came out. We talked about it a little bit at the beginning. The Flash. Season 9, Episode 9, what I'm going to be calling our crossover event of the year. The return of not only Oliver Queen, but also Wally West and John Diggle and Ramsey Russo, aka Bloodwork. So what was your thoughts on this CW DC trailer?
I loved this trailer. But I do wish there wasn't just one episode because I feel like it's going to feel like way too much is stuffed into one episode. But there was one thing out of the trailer I did not particularly like, and that's where it said that the Arrowverse is teaming up one last time. When this isn't really like the entire Arrowverse, this is just as Arrow and
Sure.
Flash are teaming up. Really, it's not which also which like it's going to honestly feel weird to me in the episode because if Oliver knows that the new multiverse is being threatened, why would he only get these three other people and not get everybody else from else help like they did with Crisis on Infinite Earths?
Sure. Yeah, I know. I wonder what the excuse is going to be here. Like, Kara's in space, but Oliver could just be like, yeah, here you are. You definitely wonder, like, Black Lightning's, like, retired, but you can always get him. What's the excuse why the League isn't here? We've already had a couple of those this season. Kara's off Earth, and this person's displaced, and this person's displaced. But yeah. That's definitely a very valid question.
But I think that trailer, honestly, all the trailers that have come out this week, that trailer excited me the most. I think this is going to be one of the coolest things that the Arrowverse has done in a while with this episode.
Yeah.
I'm so happy that we're finally getting the multiverse back.
Yeah, no. Like, I saw this trailer, and there was a part of me... Have you been watching this whole season? Or you just kind of... Oh, you have? Okay. So, like, there's a part of me, and obviously we probably couldn't, because, like, Stephen Amell probably couldn't have done it, and budget-wise, but there's part of me that wishes this was just the first 5-episode arc, because, like, I almost wish we could have had this, like, Armageddon... like event to start off the season, have a few of your like interludes, and then you can do your final speedster battle that we're potentially getting at the end of the season. So I don't know, it's kind of disappointing. I am like there's a lot here too. Like, I'm wondering how we're gonna fit it all in. We have Wally and Bloodwork and Oliver and Diggle and a birthday party and all this kind of stuff that's getting thrown in here. But, it does definitely feel like they are promoting this as, like, their crossover event, as their big CW one final crossover, if you will. So I think that's really cool. Mm-hmm. So are you a fan of Wally West? Are you excited to see our boy Wallace come back?
I'm very excited to see a Wally come back. I've always liked Keenan and Lionsdale in the role. I think I absolutely love the personality that the character has. It's honestly saddened me that it's been 3 seasons now that he hasn't appeared.
Yeah,
like that. So I'm very happy he's finally coming back. I'm honestly a little bit surprised that they're still not giving him a new costume though. They've been really good in the past 2 seasons or so. Even if it's a character is only coming back for 1 episode, getting them a new costume, but he still has his costume from season 2.
Yeah, it's a weird choice. I think what they've done with Wally. Those Crisis comics came out. I don't know. Did you watch any of those Earth Prime comics?
I did not. I want to read those, but I have not had a chance to.
Yeah. Just one kind of small spoiler, like we jump forward into 20 years and he's still wearing his Wally West costume, his Kid Flash costume. It's why? You can upgrade. You're 50. You don't need to be wearing your Kid Flash costume anymore, buddy.
So, I know this is probably not very likely. But I honestly could see this crossover or leading into something more. Mainly because there was one interview where that Grant Gustin did where it was a video interview, and it sounded as if while he was talking, it sounded as if there was a possibility of there being something more happening after the finale. And I think it would be really cool if maybe this is actually just the start of something, and we're gonna actually get maybe a full-on Arrowverse movie, a special, coming in like the next few years or something.
Sure.
I wrap
That'd be
everything up.
sick.
Maybe actually doing like the story that was being set up in the Earth Prime comic, because I do know
Sure.
that was something really big being set up there.
They ended it with like Oliver being like, "There's something big coming,"
Yeah.
and then we even had the like Stargirl stuff kind of maybe set up like a crossover type thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I mean, I would love something like that. That'd be
And
like the
to be
dream
honest,
scenario.
I could see as and counting it just as like an Elseworld saying, I could see James Gunn being willing to give the Arrowverse fans sign like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would love that. I would absolutely love that. That'd be the dream scenario here. I don't think we will, but
I don't think we will either. But I think that it is a possibility to think about.
LBM said excited for Diggle and Oliver's reunion. Me too. I'm going to cry when Diggle finally gets to say goodbye to Oliver, because that's something like Oliver died twice in Crisis, and he didn't get to say goodbye to him at all. I'm definitely very excited to see those two interact. I wonder how we're going to end Diggle's story, because this is the end of Diggle, obviously. At least this Earth's Diggle. I know Super and Lois has their own Diggle. I do wonder if we're going to somehow do something with that ring again. Like, I wonder if they're going to bring it up at all. If they're just like, no, we're done with it. We're not even going to mention it.
What would be funny is if Oliver's like reveals to him that it was him who sent the ring.
That's
and
in my
like,
headcanon, yeah.
And he's like, do you still have the ring? He's like, oh,
yeah,
you're the one who wanted me to use that for something.
Sure.
Oh, I could threw it away.
Yeah, I could see a thing where he like makes a new one or something and give, I don't know, like something just to end off that Diggle. Like, you don't even have to show him a suit or anything. Just have him put it on and walk away, and yeah, he's Green Lantern or whatever. It's been a wild one for that Green Lantern story for sure.
Yeah, and I really want to see Oliver make a comment to Barry about his golden boots. Like, I feel like he would have a hilarious comment there.
That'd be cool. Yeah, I'm wondering what all we're gonna do with Oliver and Barry, and I'm excited for Oliver and Wally as well, because they haven't had too much screen time. They had like a second of screen time together in like the Invasion crossover, but that's been about it. Yeah. And also like the multiverse, like we're getting the like we're getting the recreate, like they finally know. Like that's been kind of the thing past couple years. Like, do they know about the multiverse? Are they gonna bring it back?
The one thing I'm like, part of me likes that they're bringing back the multiverse, but part of me is like, it's kind of gonna cause a little bit of like to me, plot holes in like how these characters will act, because there's no way that in the last set of episodes they explore the multiverse again. But I feel like if you're Barry and you find out the multiverse is back, then you're going to want to go and travel the multiverse and see if you can find Harry again. Like they were best friends, so so I feel like that would make sense that he would want to do that, but that's because of time restraints and also money. There's probably no way that they could end up doing something like that.
I think it's going to be a very open-ended thing that I think they needed to do, just because I think end it off with them knowing it's out there, and then 10 years from now, 15 years from now, you can do like a Crisis or a some multiverse level thing where you can have like all your like movie characters from throughout the multiverse like come together, right? You can have like the Matt Reeves stuff, you can have the Arrowverse, you can have Doom Patrol or whatever, all combined with your James Gunn movie thing, and it's a giant crossover like Avengers type movie or whatever. That I think could be a lot of fun.
Do you think we'll see Cisco pop up before the series ends?
I hope so. I have a hard time thinking that they didn't do something. Like, I know Carlos had said they didn't ask him to come back, and there's no way they didn't. Eric Wallace didn't at least reach out to him and say, "Hey, could you?"
So. I hope so, but I could sadly see it ending up like how how with the Arrow final season, how there was one character that everybody's pissed that they didn't bring back, and that was Slade.
Yeah.
And I could see that it sounding like that being happening with Cisco.
I think they'll they had said that they have referenced them a couple times. I think we'll at least do like a face call. I think they'll at least have a scene where Cisco is saying hi or whatever. Maybe it's when Nora's born or something. Oops. Barry or like Cisco calls them hey, congrats man, I love you, and then hangs up as something to give us for the fans, because I have a hard time that they didn't plan anything, and I think the fact that he's saying oh, they haven't asked me yet, I don't believe that for 1 second. If we're bringing back Becky Sharp and the hotness, they definitely asked him.
I'm honestly surprised that with after how much we got of Brendan Ralph as the Atom last season.
Sure.
I'm surprised that we haven't had him pop up again.
That he's definitely someone I would have liked to have. I would have loved someone from the Legends crew that were also on the Flash. So your obviously Heatwave wouldn't have come back. He has beef with the whole network. But you're a Brandon Ralph or a Jax. Could have been really cool, who have all been on the show in the past. I think Brandon would have been great though.
I still wish that after Crisis they got Sarah to appear on an episode of Flash, because Barry and Sarah in Crisis had some of the best chemistry that we saw in that entire crossover.
I agree.
And it wasn't and they weren't even very many scenes together.
I agree. I always figured we obviously set up the League. I always imagined them as this source version of your Batman and Superman, where the Flash is the symbol, but Sarah was almost the leader type that kind of led and strategized and stuff like that. Yeah. Apparently they had plans for a crossover if they had their full 20 20 episode season, but that obviously didn't happen. I think they had time. It wasn't about time.
And I'm pretty sure, sadly, all came down to Grant Gustin didn't want to come back for more. Yeah.
Alrighty. We're moving on. We'll do our one last topic. So you had something, some Superman and Lois and Stargirl stuff, right?
Yeah. So earlier this week there was this Instagram takeover thing that Alex something, the actor who plays Jordan, I think on Superman and Lois, was doing on the Superman and Lois page, and a video was posted of Breck Bassinger as Stargirl, but she said that she's the Stargirl of Earth 9. Which is Titan's Earth. So I think that there's a good chance that I was teasing using the big crossover that's happening, but with Titans and Doom Patrol. But what I find really interesting about it is that it was posted on the Superman Lois page. It makes me wonder if a character from that might be appearing as well in it.
Maybe, although the pages do cross. They cross promote a lot. The Arrow page will post a Flash promo or something.
Yeah, but you don't usually see stuff for HBO Max shows. And this is going to this is all going to take place on an HBO Max show. Being posted through one of the CW's pages. So it makes me interested in finding out if there is a possibility of that. But I also am interested in what if there's actually a chance that there's some kind of connection between this crossover and the Arrow Flash one, just because they're releasing so close together.
That would be
less
really
than a week between them.
That would be really sick if you could somehow connect. I even wonder if the Arrow and Flash one will somehow show glimpses of all the other shows or something.
I think it is a possible thing, and just because even though it definitely seems like we're going to be getting just all characters from the Titans Earth, but within and what we know, all three of these shows take place on different in Earth. So I think there is a possibility that there is some kind of multiversal thing involved. Sure. But also, the villain for the Arrow Flash thing is Bloodwork, Well, I think for the last half of episodes for Titans, isn't it Brother Blood is
Brother
the
Blood.
villain? So, could there be a connection between the
That'd be
villains
sick.
too?
Yeah. I doubt there is, but I would love if they
Mhm.
somehow connected like this crossover and the Arrow crossover and the comic that teased some
Yeah.
stuff. Even Stargirl teased like she's like they're going on an adventure or whatever with like Jay Garrick popping in.
Mhm.
So I would love if there's somehow some
I
comic,
like.
some
I
movie.
definitely don't think that there will be, but I think
Yeah.
it's an interesting thing to think about the possibility of
It
it.
definitely is. I would love just like do another Earth Prime comic and
Yeah.
wrap it all up. Like do like one final event, or again, like in the Spring World, do like a movie or like a limited
Mhm.
series or something to wrap everything up would be sick. I think that'd be a great way to end it all.
Oh, yeah.
I also think it doesn't help that we have all these kind of actors moving on to different projects and. All they're doing different things. Like Stephen Amell has a show now, and then
Mhm.
Melissa's getting a show now, and I hope Grant Gustin gets a show. I hope Grant Gustin
Yeah.
gets a new project, a new
Either
movie.
either a show or yeah, a movie. I honestly think that Grant Gustin is like a good enough actor that he should be able to get a role either in James Gunn's DCU or in the MCU. I
Mhm.
think he could like he would match well into those.
Sure. Yeah, no, I hope he gets a lot of luck. I know he's also like a Broadway guy, so maybe he can go back to Broadway and
Mhm.
sing his heart out, and all that fun jazz. All right, we will wrap up this stream today with talking about the coolest trailer we obviously got of the week, and that's the Barbie trailer. I am so excited for this movie. I'm not a Barbie
yeah.
guy. I never grew up with Barbie. I didn't have any sisters or
Mhm.
anything. This movie looks so much fun, though. What was your thoughts on this trailer?
I'm exactly in the same boat as you. I did not grow up on Barbie, but this movie looks absolutely hilarious. I'm very interested in what when Barbie goes into the real world, since that's definitely what they're teasing in the trailer. What's going to be happening there? Because um, I think this film, I think this is a film where parents are going to expect this to be a film for kids, but this is really going to be a film for adults, and it's and I think that I think part of what's going to be really interesting with the film is when she gets into the real world, she being this person who does not know anything about violence, cursing, sex. She's going into this world that all of those things exist, and and that's gonna be very interesting. Like
Yeah.
And what particularly makes me think that's what's going to happen is because of the line where they're like asking where Ken's like, "Oh, should I stay over at your house tonight? I to do what? Oh, I don't really know."
Yeah, I love that scene because it's such a childlike mentality, right? Like these kids playing with these Barbies. They know parents sleep together, and they like stay over and they spend time, like they kiss and whatever. But they don't really know exactly what happens when parents spend the night together. And I think that's a really fun. I think comedy in this movie is gonna be really really good.
Oh yeah, I'm very interested for this. Is when it comes out in July. I'm interested in what the box office is going to look like because this film has a massive cast.
Yes.
And it's coming out the same weekend as Oppenheimer, which
Yeah.
also has
Same
a
day,
massive also has a massive cast too.
Yeah.
It's gonna be very interesting to see which one comes out on top there.
I think Barbie's gonna do really well. I think they have all the ingredients. I mean, Barbie, like I feel like I don't see it a lot, but Barbie has a massive audience of fans through the last 40, 50 years or whatever.
And also, all of the actors that are in this have said that this is the greatest script that they've ever read. So that's some high praise.
I think this is gonna be really good. I mean, of course, it's a very fun concept. It seems to be like a very fish out of water story, which of course we've seen so many times. But I think this has, of course, you have an amazing director, you have amazing cast. And of course, this amazing script that we keep hearing about. I think this is honestly going to be a very deep movie that no one really expects.
Definitely.
I can see a third act where you just get a whole bunch of like audience crying because it's so deep, and I think you have a real opportunity to tell a really interesting story with a concept that might be kind of silly.
Yeah, definitely. And I'm very interested in how Will Ferrell plays into that, because I can't imagine him in a movie that actually makes you cry.
Will Ferrell, yeah, I mean, Will Ferrell definitely gives me the like Lego Movie character vibes, the like big like businessman CEO. And I think he's the villain of this movie, right? He's supposed to be
I think he's supposed to be the villain. He's it says online that he's playing the Mattel CEO.
That's very funny. I'm excited for Will Ferrell. I'm excited for this whole cast came out. I didn't even know half of these people were in this movie. John Cena and like Michael Cera and all these this massive cast of characters. And I love the meme that's going around. Everyone using that like generator to make their own Barbie poster.
We didn't see a John Cena in the trailer, but I'm wondering, is he going to be one of the Kens? Because a buff Ken will be hilarious.
I don't think they've said. I haven't seen like a John Cena poster or anything that said either way. I hope so though. That'd be great.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, with that being said, that's most of the big trailers we got for the week. Thank you, John, for hopping on with me, talking about some of these trailers. This was a lot of fun. We talked a lot of fun things here. Guys, if you want to go check out John's podcast, he talks about Hulk and Marvel and a whole bunch of other geeky-related stuff. Link down below. Is there anything else that you would like to shout out or promote or say before we wrap up the stream?
I don't think so. I'm very happy that you had me on here.
Absolutely. This was an absolute blast. Would love to do it again at some point. Yeah, but without further ado, I'll see you guys on the flip side. Bye-bye.